Hey guys, it's Griffin Oni here, and welcome back to Pokémon HeartGold. Last time, we began our Pokémon journey in the Johto region. We got our starter Pokémon, we did a big errand for Professor Elm, and we fought our rival for the very first time. And now, with all of that preamble out of the way, it's time for us to begin our journey properly. So, without any further ado, we're gonna head out of the lab. And now it is properly daytime. I have since adjusted the clock since the previous episode, so now we are properly in the correct time. Before we do anything else, I want to head back home and talk to our mother, because she has something very, very important to talk to us about. So you're leaving on your adventure. Okay, I'll help too. But what can I do for you? I know. Every time you receive prize money, I'll save some of it for you. On a long journey, money's important. Do you want me to save your money for you? So this is a feature that is entirely optional. If you want your mother to take just a tiny portion of your money to buy you some items, you can do that. But you don't have to do that if you'd rather focus on just getting all the items for yourself. Personally, just to kind of show everything off, I am going to be opting in for this, but there are definitely benefits to not doing it as well. It's your preference, and that's what I like about this. Oh, and just so you know, you're not locked into doing this. At any time, you can come back to your mother and tell her to stop spending your money if you don't want her to. So don't feel like you have to commit to this one way or the other. But for the purposes of this journey, we're going to go with yes. Okay, I'll take care of your money. Be careful. Pokemon are your friends. When you work as a team, you can accomplish anything. Now go on. All right, let's head on out. With our new partner Blazer in tow, nothing can, everything can be accomplished. But before we do anything, we gotta talk to Lyra. There you are. Griffin, you can catch wild Pokemon with Pokeballs. Follow me. Just like that. If you say so. Huh? Was that too fast? I'll try again. Come this way. There we go. While Rattata has appeared, she's going to send out Meryl here. If you look at the bottom screen, we can see she's going to select Fight and use Tackle. While Rattata is going to counter with Tackle. Okay, its HP is down. It's ready for the Pokeball. So we go into our bag menu here, or rather Lyra does. She's going to select Pokeballs, and then select 20 Pokeballs. Or rather just one of the 20. And like that, she has caught a wild Rattata. Very, very nice for her. I don't care though. Nah, I'm just kidding. See, just like that. It's better to lower your target's HP more than I did. Or make it sleep or something. You can try all kinds of things to see what works. I'll give you these. Good luck. We got the Pokeballs. See ya. Alright, let's see how many Pokeballs we have to start out with. Alright, we have 5. The thing about this game you gotta bear in mind is that it's not as forgiving as it was in subsequent generations about catching Pokemon. Well, no time like the present. We have multiple new Pokemon that we can find here. And since we're in the immediate moment, let's talk about what we have in front of us. First of all, we have Rattata. Now, Rattata is definitely not the best normal type out there. It's still an early game Ronin after all. But it's still more useful than you think. I do recommend catching a Rattata just to have one on hand. Rattata right off the bat has pretty high speed and decent attack for this point in the game. It gets really good normal moves like Quick Attack and Hyper Feint to help complement its type. Plus, some of the other moves it learns like Bite and Crunch have been made better for Rattata since they are now physical. Plus, it won't take too long to evolve Rattata into Raticate at level 20, where its attack and speed get even better. You'd be surprised what Raticate can outspeed. Unfortunately, it is still an early game Rodent at the end of the day, and will likely struggle in the long run in comparison to those who can hit harder and take hits better. If nothing else, I recommend keeping one on hand for reasons that will become apparent later. Anyway, we got the Rattata. Rattata, the mouse Pokemon. It eats anything. Wherever food is available, it will settle down and produce offspring continuously. Is this a rat or a rabbit? I don't plan to nickname every single Pokemon that I do catch along my way. I do tend to catch as many Pokemon as I reasonably can, though. So, if you want to nickname this Rattata, please leave a recommendation in the comments, and as soon as I am reasonably able, I will give Rattata a nickname. Literally one step into our journey after the tutorial, and I immediately find a Pokemon. That is utterly ridiculous. Well, we're going to advance further on here, as reasonably able. And I guess we can talk about the next Pokemon that is available here. PIDGEY. Now, looking at PIDGEY, I know what you're thinking. It's an early game Route 1 bird. It must be terrible. Well, I won't deny that PIDGEY and its evolutions do have their limits, but there are some positives with PIDGEY that you should still consider. It does have decent enough stats for early game, and with its speed and attack only improving as it evolves. Plus, flying Pokemon actually get a lot more utility in this game than you think they will. If that's not enough, in addition to both flying and normal attacks, it actually gets Twister of all things through level up, which is a dragon type move. I think the only genuine problem with PIDGEY's moves is that most of them, despite how useful they can be, are special attacks, and PIDGEY outside sat as attack. I'm not going to tell you that PIDGEY is the best bird out there, but you'd be surprised by how far you could go with it. Trust me, I got stories to tell with PIDGEY later on once we get to it. God bless, PIDGEY, can you just get in the ball, please? I can't reasonably lower its HP any further. You've got to be kidding me! Catch rate of 255, my give me a break! It's a PIDGEY, for God's sakes! I've had to use all of my Pokeballs on this thing! You better catch. Ugh. Okay, well, at least we got 2 Pokemon. That's kind of awkward. I can't catch any of the other Pokemon that we'll find here, but at the very least, we got PIDGEY. PIDGEY, the tiny bird Pokemon, it usually hides in tall grass. Because it dislikes fighting, it protects itself by kicking up sand. That's indicative of the fact that it can learn Sand Attack. Like Rattata, if you want to give PIDGEY a nickname, feel free to recommend one in the comments, and I will change its nickname to reflect that as soon as I'm able. Well, since I do not have the ability to catch any other Pokemon, let's take a second to go over what else we can find here. Now that we've gone over the Route 1 Kanto Pokemon, that covers those. But there are some early game Johto ones. And don't fear, because Sentra is here. Now, Sentra is not quite as attack-oriented as Rattata is, nor is it particularly fast, but there are still some positives. Like Rattata, it does get multiple normal type attacks through level up, and Sentra actually evolves into Furret even sooner than Rattata, making it more approachable if you only plan to use it in the early game. Long term, however, is when this Pokemon will struggle. Aside from lackluster stats, the moves it gets through level up are somewhat random and are more helpful for support. It gets things like Follow Me and Helping Hand, moves that are only really useful in double battles. And while double battles do occur in this game, it doesn't happen often enough to warrant keeping Furret around. And weirdly enough, it also learns a baton pass on stat changes, and may first use whatever move the opponent will use before they use it. Regardless, I recommend catch one if you don't plan on catching a Rattata for the same utilitarian reasons. And hey, at least since Furret's back, I can show you guys this again. Yeah, it's back! Moving on. Now, the last Pokemon we can find here is actually pretty interesting because of how it works. Found only at nighttime, which conveniently I was able to showcase in the previous episode, is Hoot. This is the first case we're seeing of a Pokemon only be available during a specific time of day. So, fittingly, if you're not a night owl, you will not find this one. Hoot as a Pokemon is not great in terms of stats. Even though it does actually get really good HP and special defense, Hoothoot and its evolved form Noctowl are not the heaviest hitters. That said, however, you may want to consider this one, just because of the surprising moves it learns. Once Hoothoot gets to level 17, it will learn a new move once every 5 levels, and they're all really good. Reflect, Confusion, Takedown, Air Slash, Zen Headbutt, Extra Sensory, they're all great. It definitely makes this Pokemon stand out in a unique way with all these Psychic-type moves it gets. It's still not going to win any awards, especially since Noctowl is not actually part Psychic, but it can definitely take you further than you may think. Also, just curious, how many of you forgot that Ash's Noctowl was a shiny Pokemon and just assumed that's how all Noctowl were supposed to look? I know I was a victim of this for a while. So, going back to our present situation here, we could head west again toward Cherrygrove City, and we definitely will at a certain point. But there's also this gate here that I do want to call attention to. There's not much we can do here, but I do want to at least address what lies beyond. Nothing new from the large safe progress guy. So if we go in here, I want to talk to this guy. You can't climb ledges, but you can jump down from them if you take a shortcut. Thank you for the tutorial, my guy. Different kinds of Pokemon appear past here. If you want to catch them all, you have to look everywhere. Well, unfortunately, if I want to catch them all, I have to move past this area and buy more Pokeballs. But I can't do that right this second, but I still want to at least address that we have a new route here. Route 46. Route 46, Mountain Road ahead. There isn't too much that we can do here at the immediate moment. There is this guy over here that we can talk to. Should try different routes sometime. You never know what Pokemon you're going to get. That is very true. And there are, in fact, 2 new Pokemon that we could theoretically catch here if I wasn't so horribly unable to catch Pokemon. Seriously, I can't believe that Pidgey gave me so much trouble. Anyway, one of the Pokemon here, as we can see right here, is Spearow. Now, Spearow is actually a pretty good flying type for something we can find this early. It already comes with decent attack and speed, which only gets better once it evolves into Fearow not much later at level 20. If I were to compare Spearow and Pidgey, given that they are both early Kanto birds, Spearow is faster and hits harder, while Pidgey is slower, hits lighter, but has more balanced stats, especially in defenses. The biggest draw of Fearow is that it's one of very few Pokemon in this game to learn the move Drill Peck, an 80 base power physical flying type move. Most flying type moves of that caliber come with some sort of drawback or charge time, but Drill Peck has no such limitations. That said, for all its strengths, Fearow does still lack in defenses, and while its usability and moveset have improved thanks to the physical special split, Fearow doesn't have a ton of versatility in the types of moves it can learn, even beyond what it learns to level up. You will ultimately find better flying types, but like Pidgey and Hoothoot, Spearow and Fearow can take you much further than you realize. And there's one other Pokemon that we can find here, and I do want to go over it right before we do anything else. And fortunately, I just found it. Thank God. Last off is Geodude. Right away, this is actually something to definitely consider for early game. Even as just a Geodude, it has excellent physical attack and defense, allowing it to take hits well and dish them out just as easily. It may start off with only Tackle, but soon enough, it will get Rock Throw, which by itself can already prove helpful against the first few major boss fights. But as it further develops and evolves into Graveler at level 25, it only gets better and better. It learns moves like Magnitude, Self-Destruct, Rollout, Rock Blast, and Earthquake, and that's all before it even reaches level 35. That said, it does have its fair share of weaknesses. It's weak to multiple types, including being quad weak to both grass and water type attacks, and generally lacks good special defense and speed. Additionally, if you want to evolve Geodude in its final form, Golem, you're going to need to be able to trade Graveler away. That said, trading was made a lot more approachable in Gen 4 due to the lack of external hardware needed to do so. So, as long as you have a friend or a second DS of your own to trade with, that won't be as much of an obstacle for you. Regardless, Geodude is great if you're looking for a durable Pokemon that can handle physical hits and provide offensive support against specific types. But it might require a bit more team coverage to deal with specific attackers and certain type weaknesses. That said, I'm not going to be dealing with Geodude right this moment because while Geodude is relatively good, I can't catch it right now, and I don't really have a good way of dealing any damage to it. But I still wanted to be sure that I covered everything that I reasonably could. So we're going to head back on to Route 29, and I do want to go back over here. As you can see, the green apricorn tree has once again reset itself. There's the aforementioned centret that I wanted to find before. Okay, gonna head on over here, get this mother heckin' apricorn again. Gotta take advantage of it every single time. Because again, there's a lot of really great stuff that you can get out of this if you're just able to kind of keep a daily intake of apricorns. Gotta head further west over this way, and now finally, we are in Cherrygrove City. And now we can probably kind of go over what we can do here. So I want to focus on the Pokemon Center to start off with. I kind of breezed over it last time, but there is a lot more to this Pokemon Center than meets the eye. First of all, talk to the store here. Hello, welcome to the Pokemon Center. We restore your tired Pokemon to full health. Would you like to rest your Pokemon? Yes, I would. Okay, I'll take your Pokemon for a few seconds. All my boys getting restored. Thank you for waiting. We restored your Pokemon to full health. Please come back again anytime. You can come here and fully restore all your Pokemon to the maximum here. If we go to this PC over here, we have access to 3 different PCs here. We have access to someone PC, Griffin's PC, and then switch off. So my PC pretty much only has mailbox and ball capsules. We'll talk about ball capsules another time, but it's going to be a while before we can directly address anything there. As for someone's PC, we're not clear on what this is, but this is a system that allows us to store Pokemon. So if we have more than 6 Pokemon, any of the other Pokemon will be deposited into this PC. It's just kind of a means to store them away. There's a lot that we can do here, but I'm going to save it for when we actually have more than 6 Pokemon available. Now, I do want to talk to some people here because they always have some interesting stuff to say. That PC is free for any trainer to use. Thank you for sharing. It's great. I can store any number of Pokemon. It's all free. Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we just had free storage? The communication center is upstairs. It's just built. I traded Pokemon there already. Yes, let's talk about that. Oh, I'll explain to you about the trainer card. Your trainer card with your Pokemon, of course, is proof of your status as a Pokemon trainer while you're out and venturing. It keeps automatic records of all kinds of information. If you touch the card, you can view the reverse side. You can sign the back of your card. You can show off your signature to anyone you meet in the Union Room. But your signature will be erased if you decide to sign your card again, so be careful. Yes, I guess we can go ahead and show this off now since we are going over this. So this is our trainer card. As you can see here, and I'm gonna ask the editor Griffin, please send to the bottom of the trainer card, because seriously, really just spoil fucking everything, why don't you? On the very top of the trainer card, we can see a lot of really cool information here. So we have our trainer ID number on the left, we have our name on the right. It shows how much money we have at the immediate moment. We have 3,500 Poke. It'll show how much progress we made in the Pokedex. Right now we've caught 3 Pokemon. The score of 80, I believe that is based on a bunch of random arbitrary things based on like how many battles you've won and how many Pokemon you caught. I will have Editor Griffin display the exact specifications of what the score entails. It says the adventure started on June 27, 2011. That is absolutely not correct at all. That is straight up incorrect information. If we flip over the card here, it has a couple of bits of information based on when we have entered the Hall of Fame. We'll get to that another time. And then how many times we have done linked battles and linked trades, and how many times we have traded here. And if I want to sign the card, I can tap on the bottom here, sign trader card. And I can go ahead and write in my horrible signature. Please do not judge me. I am not good at writing, and the DS only exacerbates that problem. But there we go. Now my trainer card is nice and properly signed. Now, you notice that there are 2 different segments here, and I do want to kind of talk about them. Welcome to the Pokemon Wireless Club Union Room. You may interact directly with many trainers here. I do not want to do this right this second, but this is the system that you use in order to interact with trainers wirelessly. You do have to be within relative proximity of them for this to work, but it's still good. Welcome to the Pokemon Communication Club Coliseum. You may battle with your friends here. And here's where you can battle with multiple people at a time if you want to do that. Now down here, I'm very sorry. We are working underground right now. It's off limits to the public. Please try later on. So downstairs is what would allow you to access the Wi-Fi Club. That is a system that allows you to directly interact with trainers over the internet. However, as some of you may know, the service that enables you to do that has since been discontinued, as Nintendo does not provide Wi-Fi capabilities to Nintendo DSs anymore, and that pretty much applies to all DSs at this point. Originally, it was just the Nintendo DS-based stuff, but now it's also the 3DS-based stuff. God bless Nintendo. There are certain services that would allow you to access these features online, but I am not willing to go out of my way for something that, frankly, nobody is using, especially with Pokemon HeartGold these days. But if you really want me to try to show something off, let me know and I'll see what I can do. But in any case, that is what we can do in the Pokemon Center for the time being. So I do want to head out. And I do want to go over to the Pokemart next. Now, inside the Pokemart, we do have some people we can talk to. Pokeballs are finally back in stock. Now I can catch Pokemon. Indeed, we can. When I was walking in tall grass, a bug-type Pokemon poisoned my Pokemon. I just kept going, but my Pokemon nearly fainted. You should keep an antidote with you. Thanks for not giving me one. Yes, an antidote would be helpful, and it absolutely would have been helpful in the last episode. But more importantly, we have some stuff here that we can buy. This is not what I actually meant to go over. I want to talk to you first, my guy. So, in addition to the stuff that we discussed in the previous episode, they now sell proper Pokeballs. Device for catching wild Pokemon. It is thrown like a ball at the target and is designed as a capsule system. So, for the purposes of what we're doing here today, I want to go ahead and buy 10 of the suckers. I'm going to go ahead and increase it by 10 on this end here. And it's abundantly clear why I want to buy 10. So, if I spend 10, I'll get them for 2,000. And since I bought 10, I also get a Premier Ball. You'll get one Premier Ball for every 10 Pokeballs that you buy, and it's always worth getting. Plus, I just like to do multiples of 10 and keep multiples of 10 as I am reasonably able to. And now I want to talk to you here. This guy sells two other products here, and as we kind of progress through the game, more stuff will be made available. So first of all, he sells airmail. This is stationery featuring a print of colorful letter sets. If you let a Pokemon hold it, they will use it for delivery. This is a way of allowing you to essentially send messages to other trainers if you trade a Pokemon to them. Not really a feature that I particularly care for or make much use out of, but I also have no means of making use out of them. Even so, it can be interesting. You just have to be mindful of what is available, because some things are not as available or interesting as you may like. And next up, there is the Heal Ball, a remedial Pokeball that restores the caught Pokemon's HP and eliminates any status problem. It's not any more powerful than a normal Pokeball, but it does fully restore the Pokemon if you really want to, but I don't recommend going out of your way to have that many on hand. I'll buy a couple just for the sake of demonstration later on, but I don't think that the Heal Balls are really going to amount to anything particularly useful. Now, before we end things off, because I do want to try to catch as many Pokemon as I can, I do want to kind of go around and catch some of the Pokemon that I was not able to catch previously. At the very least, I want to try to catch a Sentret, a Spearow, and a Geodude. So I will be right back when I accomplish those things. All right, Sentret has been caught. Fantastic. Another member added to the squad. Sentret, the scout Pokemon, a very cautious Pokemon. It raises itself up using its tail to get a better view of its surroundings. If you would like to give a nickname to Sentret, feel free to recommend one in the comments. And now that we have caught the Sentret, I now need to prioritize working through Route 46 to get the other two Pokemon. Because I do want to at least get a Geodude and a Spearow for the time being. They may prove useful later on. Well, thank you very much, Spearow. Why did PIDGEY give me so much trouble? I figured Spearow would have given me way more problems with this. Anyway, Spearow, the tiny bird Pokemon. It flaps its short wings to flush out insects from tall grass. It then plucks them with its stubby beak. Like all my other Pokemon I've caught so far, if you want to give a nickname to Spearow, feel free to recommend one in the comments. Now I just need to find myself a Geodude, and we will be done with our business. Ay, finalmente! Seriously, this took way too long. Geodude, like, man, you really ate away at my time with this one. Oh, good. It knows Defense Curl. This may take me a minute. Tackle missed? Hold up. Okay, 5% chance of missing, but still. That's ridiculous. Okay, many tackles and defense curls later. I'm pretty sure I'm able to get Geodude as it is. All right, and like that, we've gotten Geodude. Pretty sure now already we have a team of 6 Pokemon. Geodude, the rock Pokemon. Most people may not notice, but a closer look should reveal that there are many Geodude around. That is a terrifying thought. As always, if you want to give Geodude a nickname in the comments, feel free to suggest one. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's go back to Cherrygrove City and explore what else there is to do there, because we really did not give it a proper examination last time. Just kind of breezed past it twice. Alright, back in Cherrygrove City, we have many people to talk to and lots of houses to interact with. So let's get started. When you're with Pokemon, going anywhere is fun. That is a great bit of advice. Oh, hello people in this house. Pokemon gain experience in battle and change their form. We'll talk about that later. I heard that each Pokemon has its own nature and that has something to do with Pokemon stats. That is a good bit of advice. Natures are something that we will be talking about another time, but they absolutely do matter. And interestingly enough, natures were not a thing when Johto was first introduced, so I wonder what she said originally. There's our old man here. When I was a wee lad, I was a hotshot trainer. Here's some words of advice. Catch a lot of Pokemon. You can only take 6 with you. If you catch more, they'll be sent to your PC. They'll exist in the void. They won't run away from the PC. There's no need to be alarmed. Remember what I'm about to tell you. Treat them all with utmost kindness. Well, I'll do at least one of those 2 things. Now, I'll try to be nice to my Pokemon. Anyway, I battled the trainers on the road. My Pokemon lost. They're a mess. I must take it to a Pokemon Center. I'm sorry to hear that. How did they become a mess? Anyway, the sign here, Cherrygrove City, the city of fragrant flowers. All the cities here do have a name, so you do want to be mindful of like what all the names do, because it does matter. You're trying to see how good you are as a Pokemon trainer. You better visit all Pokemon gyms all over Johto to collect badges. I can read. When I get older, I'm going to be a gym leader. I make my Pokemon battle with my friends to make them tougher. Good bit of advice. Now, is there anything else? Nope. We just have the large man and the waves that crash against me. See, listen here. Like you can even hear like the wave, like the water hitting you as you walk past it. Such great attention to detail. Then, Nicole, what do you have to add to this? Player seems I'm happy to be all wet. See, that's what I love about this game. It's like, it explicitly does not like to be wet because we're next to the waves. How do you feel now, Cyndaquil? Your Pokemon turned to face the other way, showing a defiant expression. Cyndaquil does not seem to be pleased with me right now. Okay, well, hopefully we'll get along better, Blazer. Is it because you're not fully healed yet? Like, I'm starting to get mildly concerned. I know that we just started, so I know Cyndaquil is still kind of more or less at base happiness, but I figured that Cyndaquil would be a little chipper. How about now, Cyndaquil? Feeling better? No, it is genuinely upset. Okay, well, I guess on that positive note, we're gonna go ahead and end things here. We have explored Route 29 and Route 30, Route 46 as thoroughly as we can for the time being. And we've also gone to Cherrygrove City and seen all the residents and everything that it has to offer for now. So next time on Pokemon HeartGold version, we are going to go further north and explore Route 30 and see what it has to offer. Trust me, there's a lot more to be seen than we have seen so far. See you guys then!